Welcome to Moon Apothecary Radio 88 FM. I'm your host, Audrey. And I have a special guest today, Kirc, aka Jerome, from the band M01E from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish, Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh peoples. I'm very excited for this conversation because we were talking about their 2 music videos from this year. Please give a warm welcome to our guest, Kirc.
That is actually a painting that my good friend and also my bassist and director and partner in crime, Kit, he gifted that to me maybe I want to say maybe 2 years ago, and I've been keeping it ever since. And on the walls there are some things that I printed from my printer, and also some other very meaningful things to myself. God, it's like there's no empty space on the wall.
No empty space. Yeah. I like to know people's horoscopes, which I still laugh at it, but it's not funny at all. Like, it's actually just like a very neutral thing. I don't know. I don't really think about it too much, but I do like to know. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising signs, what are they?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have a record of them. I know I'd done them like a while ago. If you want, maybe I can do that. I'm so curious. Oh my God.
I'm so curious too. Cool. So you are a Libra. Your moon is a Capricorn, and your rising is Sagittarius. So you play guitar and do the vocals for M01E, right?
Yes, indeed. Kit used to share vocal duties with me, but I think recently is experiencing some medical issues, maybe surrounding his jaw. I could be wrong. Forgive me, Kid, if I if I messed this one up. But I am hoping that maybe he would return and sharing vocal duties with me soon, because I think I'm straining my voice a little.
Do you have any like vocal resting recovery techniques for yourself?
Oh my goodness, I'm most definitely the last person to ask about this, because I think I'm doing quite an awful job at taking care of my voice, which is something that really has brought my attention to, especially after our album release show on the 15th. Riley from Worry Ward gave me some good advice about protecting my voice, and also recommended throat coat.
Yeah.
I have yet to give it a try, but it's something definitely I'm more mindful of. Although it may be something that would I would absolutely run away from if it's like 2 years ago, because I think just being how I was at the time and how the message of the group is, it is as raw as possible, even if that means just straining your voice. But I think it's good that I've gradually moved on from that type of way of being radical, and just focus more on making things sustainable, and also take better care of myself.
Right. So you can continue to do make more works and more music, and obviously perform live. That's
exactly. I would love to sing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Kit comes back and he can trade off with you.
Rescue me from my doom.
Right.
It's I think it's good. It's good that I think after this past period, the things that I'm writing these days are more with just me singing, because I think I feel less of a need to to scream now because I've done so much of that, and that makes me happy in a way too, that I managed to achieve like a new balance recently. So that makes me equally excited as well, because I love singing, and I love to sing more and get better at this as well.
Yeah, your voice is great. We're gonna
Oh,
go
thank
into
you.
that further. Yeah, I have a would like to ask questions, obviously, about the music videos that came out, and then but we'll go into that soon. I just have one question because I don't really know the
Absolutely.
background enough of the band, but I also would love to just hear your take on the name of the band and
Oh
what
yeah.
it means. Is it a code name or is it a play on the binaries of like how robots talk, ones and zeros?
I think initially, maybe when I was 15, 16 or so, um, I think I had the idea of having a group ever since I was maybe 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
The idea just was permanently left in my head, because I feel like it's just got to be the best things ever,
Mm-hmm.
being in my background, and of course I was trying to come up with names that would really resonate with me,
Mm-hmm.
and this name called my sold out reverie really stuck in my, of course, 16-year-old mind back then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think because I was a huge My Chemical Romance fan, and the word "my" as the first word of a band name instead of like "the," because that didn't seem too exciting for me.
Right.
But I like "my" because it suggests this level of the art being personal. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my, and then but the idea of sold out reverie has like a double meaning
Mm-hmm.
to me, because it could either suggest that I was like, oh, sorry, we're sold out, we have sold out of your dreams, or something like that. It has like kind of like a melancholy tone,
Mm-hmm.
or it's like I have a dream that has allowed me to sell out, which means to to make me like a rich person or something like that. But that's coming out from like a satirical
Right.
angle that I think it's funny. So I am a huge fan of contrast and
Mm-hmm.
just being obscure. I
Sometimes
love
the
the
sound of the
mhm.
word is you don't know why you like the word. First you like the sound of it and then you look into it and then it
Mhm.
starts to have all these other associations that build around
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, I know what you
yeah.
mean.
I love the distance between the two meanings, because
Mm-hmm.
they almost seem to be so different, and almost like on the both ends of the same spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as I got older, maybe when in 20 2021 January, that
Yeah.
I had to make the band physical,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to pin a name to it. And being 5 years older, I think the name, of course, and the meaning and everything, I still resonate deeply with me. But I just thought, oh, it's just too long of a name. So I just decided to take the first letter and the last letter, and then turn the sold, the O and the L into 0 and 1, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of compress the word all together into M01E. And although I'm very glad you caught up with the maybe the binary code reference, Audrey, and
I'm a
but
little
I
bit of a
guess it's
tech nerd,
something.
so so it's like, oh,
But
it's speaking my
we're
language.
swimming. We're swimming in it, I'm afraid.
I know, yeah, with
Um,
algorithms and
yeah,
AI is always, I mean, it's in all of my tech gear of Apple, deep AI.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but most definitely was a surprise harvest.
Yeah.
But I love the open-ended of the name's interpretation, because it could also mean that if you tier me in half, all you get is a bunch of zeros and ones as well. There could be many interpretations.
Did you grow up in China, like in Shenzhen?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was born in Shenzhen, but I feel like my formative years were spent in Chengdu, the city
Mm-hmm. Yep.
in the
Sichuan.
western
Yeah.
region. That's where,
Yeah.
yes, yes, that's where
You're like, yeah,
that's where
you're
I
like, thank
had
God.
my
I don't have to explain
yeah.
all
That's I'm really curious. Maybe afterwards
we
to
will
know
talk about.
your
Well, you can
connection
always ask me
to.
a question. Feel free to jump in. Yeah, whatever. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah. But we'll talk
yeah.
about you
Well, what
first.
is your
So you okay,
connection? Okay.
you
Yes.
were born in Shenzhen, then you moved to
Yes.
Chengdu and then you lived there until when you graduated
Yeah.
high school and then you came to or
Um, I graduated from junior high, and
okay.
then I moved back to Shenzhen
Mm-hmm.
and for 2 years of international high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents and I, we moved to Halifax, and we emigrated to Canada at
Wow.
first as a permanent citizen, of course. And
Yeah.
then I've got my citizenship luckily 2 years ago.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Yay.
thank
Finally.
you.
So you
Yeah,
were there for so
such a
long.
privilege.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is a privilege. Truly it is. Yeah.
hmm
But you've been there for a while, so you're Canadian.
hmm
You're
Oh my gosh, I'm being Canadian.
you're
I'm already
totally
Canadian.
you're Canadian already. Yeah. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think after like 5 years, the person is already switching over in like a cultural way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
mentally, physically. Yeah.
absolutely.
I guess well, have you been going back?
Mhm.
Because there was COVID that happened, probably didn't
Yeah,
travel.
no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't been back for 8 years, I guess. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm. So you learned English and obviously like from music and films and stuff like that, right?
My English teacher during primary school was, I think, as a child and just a young person, I think the best person that I could have met, and because
Mm-hmm.
I think it was through him and how he taught,
Mm-hmm.
and because he was really unlike all the other English teachers that you may imagine from like coming out of like a Chinese institution.
Mm-hmm.
He was young and energetic. He knew how to make the lessons fun for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and we even used to simply by, of course, answering questions in class and getting points. He would print out these little tiny um, U.S. dollars, and then we would collect them, and we would have this flea market that we would actually trade goods based on this fictional currency, and that was so much fun. I was like most definitely one of the richest student in class, and
Mm-hmm.
that gave me really a great sense of pride and confidence within myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my relationship with the English language. So maybe on one hand, I most definitely loved English, and I felt a great connection with the language and the of course the culture it connects to. But I think a lot of it comes from just how great of a teacher that he was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
was connected to my young little baby sense of pride
That's
and
a great.
self-achievement.
Absolutely. It's a good match, right? Between
Mm,
mentor and student. Absolutely. Yeah. I think
mhm.
that, like you said, the game, if there was no game, I don't know if you would have learned it as quickly because,
Yeah,
yeah, it
exactly.
spoke that kind
Because it
of
was,
game. Yeah,
yeah,
worked for you. Yes.
was one of the few things that I truly think was fun
True.
growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's also very advanced for, even like a kid to start learning how to barter and sell things, But
Oh my God. Yeah.
because I remember when I was like I think in primary school, what was I doing? I was not doing that. That's for sure. Like in class. I wanted to ask you questions about the two most recent music videos.
hmm
So this actually connects well because the first one that I want to talk about is 我要活, which is I want to live. And I was thinking we could start with that, but then also we'll talk about guts. 我准备活下去，我要丢开一切个人无谓的烦恼，来开始我的新生。好在我已经是死过一次的人。What was the first part from? Because it's a recording, an audio recording.
Yes.
It's from a film or a show?
It's from an old film, and just to make sure that I don't butcher this, I do want to bring up the right information for the lovely people that are listening. It's from this old Chinese film called New Women from 1935. And I feel like I shouldn't spoil the film because it's taking place at the very, very last scene in the film.
So this film, you watched it. Was it in recently, and then you were inspired by it, or?
It's actually I watched it first when I was in the final year of my university in Asian cinema studies, which is really ironic since like I never knew about these films from my own country until I've come to the other side of the world. But I watched it maybe 2.5 years ago, and the very last scene just really stuck with me, and so was that excerpt. I have this habit of whenever I'm watching a film, whenever like an interesting dialogue happens, I just bring out my phone and just record it and archive it just in case.
I was thinking about like how younger people, we don't necessarily, this isn't always true, but I think a lot of us are so used to collecting digital elements. I wouldn't call them objects because they're not physical, but in a way they are. We like to collect images, sound bits, things like that. Meanwhile, the older generation, like our grandparents' generation, they like those, figurines, and they like stamps and these things. So that scene, you're sitting in class and you're watching it there.
Actually, I took the class virtually, so I wasn't sure if it was the year of maybe 2021, but it was, I think things were still recovering from COVID, so I actually just watched it, I guess, by myself on my computer. So maybe it was more than 2.5 years ago. My memory is such a blur at this point. And yeah, I must have rewatched the scene for quite a few times just to make sure that I got the audio recording right, and also I was not interpreting anything.
Because you did the subtitling, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to. It's I was like, there are times when cases like this happen, I would be initially doubtful of my own abilities and almost would go to Google for a translation. Then I realized how ridiculous it was, and so I just did the translation myself.
We've gone so used to offloading our brain power to, the AI or the internet. The computers.
That's scary. Scary. It's they're preying on our self-doubt and
truly
insecurity almost, and it's very revealing.
It is revealing. It seems like a blessing to be able to have access, right? But you have to be able to also do some things as well, not to always have the computers do things for us. And that's how I feel personally. But we have to also be conscious. Like we have to be the ones to be like, okay, wait, I can do this. I don't need help for this.
A tricky relationship. That's my relationship with caffeine as well.
Oh my gosh, that's a good point. It does have the same effect, like food or caffeine. don't know, some people smoke cigarettes or nicotine or whatever.
Yeah,
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 CBD.
exactly.
Yep.
It's very, very
Find.
tricky relationships.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
tricky. We
Hmm.
need to kind of have like a step before we make the choice to be like, can I do this without this? Is
Yeah,
this like
yeah. Hmm.
desperate times? No.
Yes, very much so.
Okay,
Hmm.
so it's pretty cool that we're paused here because there's this drum kit here and it says hit me and it has all of these words on it. So this is like a drum kit that I'm assuming is part of the band. Like this is like a band
Yeah,
instrument,
yeah.
yeah, that you always use or
It
bring with you or
has quite a history. I'm not sure if we recently just replaced the drum head, but
oh
like all the writing is there.
yeah.
As the hit me, I think I wrote it there just just because I thought it was funny and also maybe slightly
It
provocative.
is provocative.
Um,
Hit
but
me.
I guess either
Yeah.
either either if the writing is there or not, it's meant to be to be hit.
Mm-hmm. It
And
is.
the writings there, as you can see, it has like numbers labeled right next to them because it used to be our set list. And interesting enough, the first one was the song. But of course, instead of using Mandarin, we just used the word alive just to represent it, just to make it short and simple for the set list,
Mm-hmm.
so my bandmates don't get confused whenever they look at it.
Yeah, no, you can't like write the whole name of the song. The whole thing will
Yeah, that
just
was
be
like
like tiny, little words squished
yeah,
together.
exactly. So yeah, it's a little maybe Easter egg, if not just a tribute to um, the past
That's
experience we have with shows. Because yeah,
yeah.
I think this is our third year, and the first 2 years has been really inconsistent with us, especially with members change and just kind of how I was as well. I was very inconsistent,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm so glad that now we have finally achieved a consistent momentum that we hope to keep going. And that's why it also took us so long to actually finish these songs that we've been playing for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's a tribute to the past, but also as an act of wrapping everything up.
Mm-hmm. This is
Hmm.
this is pretty cool that it paused at this part because I don't think I would have, been like, oh yeah, the drum kit. Let me ask you about that. No, this is perfect. And hey,
Yeah,
yeah, this is mnemonic devices are great. Speaking of memories and offloading, this drum
yeah.
kit.
It's I'm extremely sentimental, and I attach too many feelings and meanings to even the tiniest things. But
Oh,
I'm glad that
I do too. We're in the same boat.
yeah.
Okay. By the way, you have like the best expressions because that's how I feel inside very often.
Thank you.
You and I
It
both
was
have
actually
very
really,
comic-y, like I have comic-y face, like of just like expressions, you know?
I didn't think too much when we were shooting the music video. Then I realized, oh shoot, this is like me being on camera
Yeah.
acting almost like the first time. And it was maybe the moment right before it hit record. I realized, oh shoot, I just realized how natural it was, because I'm not someone that really feels comfortable in front of a camera, especially if I are to perform.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. Maybe I just need to get used to it. Um, but since it was maybe my first acting experience,
Hmm.
I was kind of pushing myself to be to try to focus on the message of the song, and how this character of me is supposed to feel, to maybe
Hmm.
evoke certain feelings. So yeah, that's a little fun story.
I felt it when I watched it. Yeah, I've watched this music video a couple times. Every time I'm always just
Oh,
like,
thank you, Audrey.
you look great. Like like that's how it
Thank you.
feels for sure. You captured it. You're tapped in. Is what I say. You were tapped in when you're.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad it carried across
It did.
through Audrey. I'm
And
very
sometimes
glad.
not thinking about it is the best because it's very natural. It's just the moment. You're not thinking too much about how can I filter this or look at this kind of way. It's raw.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
your bandmates are probably all like that's more important is the
hmm
authenticity of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of funny because, and not funny, it's just true. When
hmm
you said you're not used to being in front of cameras that when that was being shot. And so you're kind of like, I gotta be like this, I have
Yeah.
to like be.
There's just there's just something really unnatural
Yeah.
about it. But just like what you said, Audrey, like just gotta pretend the thing is not there
Yeah.
and just do what I usually do.
It works.
Yeah.
So here it says, I
Mhm.
can't really read behind your hand.
So usually the phrase is power to the people, and I think, and I just added the word chord between the power and the two, and which is also a message that I believe in deeply because I mean, I was a benefactor, and I'm sure so are many of the musicians as well, because all you need are power chords, and that's all. You're good to just go ahead and express yourself with power chords.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
and also, it's a learning power chords. Just that hand shape is all you need to feel enough to
Hmm.
just go off on your own and to not be afraid. So yeah, it is a little joke, but also a sincere message from me.
Absolutely. So you know how it begins with a circle? And then here you're just doing the circle. It's like Ring Around the Rosie. Pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes. We all fall down. And there's something really dark about that, but it's a child's folk song, game.
Definitely with us and maybe with the message of the song as well. It's um entirely on the positive side, and I think my and our dear Willow, our drummer,
Hmm.
and also very dear friend of mine,
Hmm.
suggested that the song is kind of like the opposite of a suicide note.
Mm.
It's like a declaration of life,
Hmm.
and related to the message of the sample at the very beginning
Hmm.
as well is at first I also thought that maybe the best English translation of the song is "I want to live," and then I rethought about it more, and I think the actual accurate translation is "I must live" with an exclamation mark.
Hmm.
Because you know how Chinese is, Audrey. Like every each character could be um, translated into so many different English words.
Hmm.
Um, So I think uh, must is more appropriate than want to.
Hmm.
It's like a very urgent
I have to.
matter, and yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I have to
And
live. Yeah.
and also everyone holding hands is a sense of togetherness
Hmm.
and go in a circle because there was that moment when they were kind of walking towards each other and they kind of at first looked nervous with their hands to themselves, and then
Hmm.
they eventually um, join hands
Hmm.
and to be determined on coming together. And that leads us to the second half of the song where everyone's just going in circles and screaming.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. I just wish the song could be longer because that was something I realized when I was editing. I was like, oh, we have all these wonderful shots.
Yeah.
Everyone looks so good, but damn, the song was 2 minutes.
I know. And it's like when you're always editing
Yeah.
these, it's like, how do I use all of this stuff, right? Like, how do I get it all in
Yes.
there? And for it to
Speed
make
up
sense.
2000%.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
it's like thousands of hours. It feels like thousands of minutes, and then it gets
Yeah.
squashed
Yeah.
into a
Yeah,
tiny bite.
exactly.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah.
But the bite is delicious. The bite is amazing.
Ooh,
It's like
tasty.
because of all the stuff that goes into it,
Yeah, yeah.
and shows for sure. And I like how it's in a
Mhm.
car park, because is this the car park that's on campus?
Yes, also has great meaning to us because that's where the Cry Club was born, and that's how that's a huge um I guess huge element to our initial formation and how I met everyone in the first place, and also was fundamental to my own self-development. But that's also another huge other topic. But yeah, it's the whole video itself is a tribute to the group's origin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And this is a very beautiful full circle, I guess, in a way for y'all to, it's like a poetic way to express that you're in this together. And
Yeah, music
yeah,
is supposed to do that. Yeah.
absolutely. And it is an expression of living and making that
Yeah.
choice together. That's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
Beautiful,
thank you,
beautiful.
Audrey.
I wanted to
Mhm.
go into detail into like why you guys even have patient dressings, but actually, I will ask, why do you have patient dressings in your
It's not only an aesthetic choice, but also I used to wear a patient gown in the parkade as a part of my costume, and also it's maybe it's representative of the mindset of the whole thing. It's like I'm not well, but I'm here to cure myself,
Mm-hmm.
and and I think it's also a way to tell the people who are clueless about whatever is happening is that I was like, oh, not only we're not taking ourselves seriously, but we're here to almost get better. Or maybe it's just a way to scare them and to make them think we're cultists or something like
Haha.
that. It's a I really yeah, I guess I really thrive on the idea of just giving people um, many different interpretations.
Of ways to
And
interpret it. Do you want to know my
yeah,
interpretation?
yeah.
It's
Yes.
okay, so I wrote down because I took notes on this. I feel
Mhm.
that what I thought to myself, my
Mhm.
association to it is
Okay.
so it's a unifying outfit, like you said. If everyone's wearing it, you may be like an occultist group doing some, esoteric, ritualistic practices where you're not supposed to be. But that's not, like it is in a way, it is kind of like being in a cult. But then wouldn't that make, okay, well, I have a question. Wouldn't that make people in hospitals wouldn't it
Mhm.
make patients in hospitals part of a cult in a way because they're all wearing a uniform? But then,
Yeah.
so that is something that, well, I was thinking about hospitals and I was thinking how every person at one point in their life will wind up in a hospital at some point. Or not everyone, but anyone who's lived in a city, in an urban area or even the suburbs, you'll end up in one of these patient gowns, buck naked,
Yeah.
just like walking around, you know,
Yeah.
like for your general
Yeah. It's
checkup, even, to get
yeah, yeah,
checkup, or not even for
exactly.
like an illness or being, bedridden or at the hospital for a long-term illness or something. It's like, yeah, we've all been there. So there's something even
Mhm.
unifying in like a collective way, even if it's like you guys are all doing it
Yeah.
in that moment. Still, I've been in one before.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's very casual, and I think it's also a simple way to saying we're all here together. We're all here trying to get better together as we're in these patient gowns. We
Yeah.
acknowledge we're not well, and we're trying to get well. So this video is entirely the vision of Kit actually,
Mm-hmm.
and my involvement was quite minimal, other than just to show up in a white T-shirt and with my guitar and thrashing about. And but I can definitely speak on what I know just from Kit that
Mm-hmm.
the two of us when we first met started to develop this idea of having a group. Kit didn't really know how to play the bass guitar, but Kit has this express interest, and I think I was being helpful to give him that push and to at least open the door. But Kit walked in himself, and it's still, I think, one thing about us as a group that maybe stands out is that we're not exactly, or at least Kid and I, and maybe, of course, Willow as well, we're not exactly, can't say we're good musicians, or at least musicians with like a certain technicality.
Well,
but it is like
subjective, I
it
guess.
is like
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you're not like a
yeah,
classical guitarist that's like,
yeah.
like
Yeah, even because I guess just like the song itself, the song structure is just the one thing again and again, but very being done so very in a very determined way, and also quite harsh and loud. And I think that's also just like the message of the song as well, as like listen to your guts, say what you want. The point is being usually things are very simple, and you just gotta trust your guts, even if it means the song just has the same repetition again and again. You just gotta believe in it.
There's this one part in this that I love, how they're in the background as he's running away, or he's just there. He's just there. I mean, sometimes I'm not even running away. He's just there. Just standing with the
The city
Vancouver,
of Vancouver,
like, behind him, drenched in blood, and from all the battles of life, I'm assuming.
yeah.
His blood, maybe someone else's blood, who knows.
Maybe a combination.
Yeah. Just organic matter of life all over him. And yeah, like hanging in these moments that are life events, and the police, running away from the police. Oh man, that part was fun. And then the graveyard, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so on point. So it's like a bunch of life events that this person is going through, is what I was picking up on. This character, this guy, who could be any of us, really. How many times you don't really get to control them, you're just in these situations.
Yeah, I realized there's an interesting way to tackle this video, since I can't speak for Kid, is I can also bring in my own interpretation.
Sure, yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. And yeah, it's like, this is just life. Basically, you just go through all of this stuff, and then you're dead. So
Yeah.
there's no time to waste. So you just gotta do it. And maybe that's the reason why next, our dear friend Sean, who is the actor of this picture, appeared at the back of Wreck-It and decided to.
That's where that is. I was like, it seems familiar to me. There you go. That's where everyone hangs out underneath, and
yeah, that's where we were born as well. We played our very first show at Reggae in 2022. Another homage. We also shot this video there as well. Kid and I, we have made 2 films together, one in our undergrad and one independently, also at Redgate as well. So it's Redgate is also a huge part for us.
I love Redgate. Redgate is a lot of my friends' bands, like favorite place in one of their homes that they play at all the time whenever they have an event. I love the imagery, and you guys are all very, I would say, very consistent with the coloring, and that is a whole other message that it gets. Yeah, you have to figure out that language for yourself as like a group. It's like, how do you come up with a language that you all can stand behind to express yourself as a group? The color red Seems to be a pretty big one for y'all. What is, I guess, what's the significance of red? Oh, I know it's a big question, but like that's my last one. Like, what is the significance of red? Because that is a big color for throughout.
I think it just feels the most right for our current stage and theme as well. It's red is like the most provocative and passionate and straightforward color there is, and I mean it's very obvious, the color of blood, the color of the red light, the warning signs, and all the even Redgate. I feel like that it's just all over the place, and I'm not sure if red is any of our own favorite color.
No one even thinks that. Yeah, no one
feels...
goes like, "Yeah, red's my favorite color." No one
Yeah,
has ever said that.
no.
So true. Red is not mine, but I use it too for my
it's
stuff.
Yeah, it's eye catching.
It is.
It just makes sense.
It does make sense. Yeah.
To have if one is to have a color scheme for this period of us, like red would make most sense. But I think maybe moving forward there would be more of a focus on imagery, not necessarily in colors. But I feel like at least for this past period, it just feels right.
That was my last question, but I do want to close off. So it is a ritual for your band to provide therapeutic screaming.
Yes.
Yeah, at your shows.
It's a service we offer.
So I thought it would be nice if we could somehow scream.
Whoa.
Scream together. But are you comfortable with doing that? Or try to not right now. Like okay, that's it.
Yeah, it's really, it brings to a very good point as well, because of how good and cathartic screaming can be. It's usually rare to find an occasion in the environment where one is really allowed to do that to the full extent, and I think we should normalize having spaces that is free for one to just have a good scream. And we learned how to scream at the parkade because no one was there. And then but now we hope to also bring it to our shows as well. And speaking of that, I'm almost in the finishing stages of mixing the audio that I have had for our album release show. And
cool.
I'm hoping to release that as a live album. And also my friend Anna was so kind to help us to film the entire thing as well. And I think it would also be quite a very important documentation of who we are, and a very essential addition to the album, to the music videos. That would truly help to have everyone who don't know who we are and what we do to understand us better. It's such a tricky thing to do. Some thrive off it, and some don't. Some suffer because we know how much things and how many creators there are in this world. Some thrive off of obscurity and the lack of connection between them and their audience. But for some, maybe for example us, we may suffer because folks don't understand what we're trying to do enough, and maybe we just dismiss us as just another rock band, which I think we are not. And I know that for certain.
No, you're not. Just to me, you're not. So
thank you, Audrey. I'm so glad. Thank you for giving us a chance to explain ourselves.
I could see the message through it. So you're not all just like in your own world. Like I can see where there is this collective thread, and I got it. So yeah, exactly. You're
I'm so
speaking the
glad. Thank you.
language of the universal language. I know. I see. So, yes. It is tricky, though. It's dicey. You don't know. It's dicey as in it's a gamble. You don't know if you're going to make the impression that you want. Yeah, for sure. It's a balance.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you why is your name Jerome in the band? Is it part of this lore story? I want to know more about that before you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot to ask.
It's more like, it's just an artist name. I think I
Yeah.
just really like the name as an artist name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Thank you so much for this
Thank you, Audrey.
opportunity. Yeah, to speak with me, and then also to just open up and share everything that you know. Yeah. And even though it would have been nice to have Kit here to explain more, but for stepping in and giving your take on it, that's really, really wonderful to hear from you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Audrey. Yeah, and of course, feel free to. This is your work of art. I'm so glad to be a featured artist. See you, Audrey.
Bye. So thanks for listening to this episode of Moon Apothecary Radio 88 FM. That was Kirc. 我要活. I want to live.